Nice. Okay. How's it going?
We're
It's
going to
it's what?
do thing.
We're doing a thing. Yeah,
What?
it's Bann, also
What?
known as Ban Hammer, also known as Bailey, also known as
Shut the fuck up.
the greatest Twitch streamer of all time.
Also known as can't schedule a fucking review
Shut the
for
fuck up. Shut
for
up.
3,000 years.
Shut up.
Okay.
And then with me is
John,
John, also known as Masked Pikmin,
also known as Causal Friday,
also known as Will Smith
Will
Genie.
Smith Genie, which I cannot change as my Discord username until the movie comes out, and I have no idea when that is. I committed myself to this.
You've made a grave mistake. Okay, what are we reviewing?
We're reviewing Love, Death, and Robots Season 1
Is there
on
more
Netflix.
seasons?
I don't know at the moment. It says Season 1, though.
Oh,
So there
okay.
might be more.
Yeah, Love, Death, and Robots came out on Netflix. It's a bunch of non sequitur, like little
Episodic.
animated videos of different ideas.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, they're all like between 10 and 15-ish minutes. I think the longest one's like 20.
20 minutes, yeah, something like that.
Longest one's 16 minutes, I think.
Okay, that's not actually too long.
Oh wait, there's a 17-minute one, and it's actually the first one. Interesting.
Big mistake.
Big mistake. But basically, they're not too long. They're just like they explore like a single concept, and they all are animated. Are they all done by the same studio? Did you ever figure that out?
I don't think so.
Because I feel like they're all different studios.
Well, for one studio to do that many different designs, I'd be pretty impressed.
Okay, are we gonna do like an overall thoughts thing at the end or at the beginning?
I
Or
would
are we just
honestly,
gonna start with episode 1?
I think, overall thoughts at the beginning would make more sense.
Okay. You go first.
Overall, I mean, I thought there were definitely some interesting ideas for the most part. Some of the animation is really good. Some of it's hit or miss, and a lot of the shorts, like in a vacuum, would be kind of nice. But like almost every single one falls to the problem of just talking way too much and explaining way too much. And I get it. It's a short little 15-minute thing or 10-minute thing, and you're trying to get your point across. But a lot of the visuals in some of these are like strong enough to do that on their own. And I'm not a brain dead idiot. I can understand what's happening without you going, "Wow, it's a spaceship," you know.
Okay, so like, my opinion of this show is very low.
The whole thing.
The whole thing, it is extremely low.
Oh shit.
I was in like physical pain trying to get to the end, and the only thing that saved me was the Russian one, which I actually unironically enjoyed. But all the rest of them, I like some of them. We'll get into the specifics, but the writing gives me actual physical pain.
I can feel
They
that.
explain.
Some
They explain
some of the
everything.
moments were like, "Oh god, it was bad."
Every fucking thing in this show is explained through narration. None of it is everything else except for one thing that I'll talk about later. But everything else, all information that is important to the story is given through like either really obvious dialogue between two characters about a thing that like they shouldn't be talking about, and they're just obviously talking about it so the audience knows what's going on,
Mhm.
or there's literally just like one of the characters is actively narrating.
Yeah. Okay, do you want to start with episode 1?
Yeah, Sunny's Edge.
Sonny's Edge. I'll do a
Let's read
little.
the Netflix descriptions of them.
Okay, I'll do that, I guess. Is it just in the underground world of beastie fights, Sonny is unbeatable as long as she keeps her edge. Is that the whole thing?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna do a quick synopsis. So essentially, it's like underground fighting, with dogs and whatever. But instead of that, they plug themselves or somehow combine themselves with large creatures and have them fight. Like they use their minds to interconnect with those creatures and fight. And it's obvious from the start that they're like, there's some guy who's trying to buy her out or get her to throw a match or whatever, and she's not having it. And then some stuff goes down at the end that I think we'll cover in a second. And we're doing full spoilers here, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Full spoilers. I don't
Um,
think that you should. To be honest, I don't think you should do a full review of something unless you're going to spoil all of it.
yeah. So I'm gonna, I guess, outside of that, that's like the pretty brief description of the episode. If you want to watch these, I'll tell you when like the spoilers of the actual episode kind of start.
Okay,
Again, which is now, by the way.
spoiler time. So basically, this lady, uh, most of these people, when they control their like beastie things, they like temporarily put their brain into them.
Mm-hmm.
But this lady, like, it's more like her body that she walks around in normally is the vessel, and she transports her entire consciousness into the beastie fight.
Yeah, she's like the opposite, where it seems like she's almost like the beast, and then the human form is kind of just a use.
Yeah, and the edge that the description explains or is alluding to is that she's fighting for her life every time,
Yeah,
which I think is an interesting concept.
yeah. It's everybody else is doing it for money or for sport or for fame, and she's doing it because if she loses, she actually just dies.
Yeah, but also this first episode shows a problem that I think comes up in the rest of the show, in that there's just like nudity for no real reason.
Yeah,
Like it feels like it's just purely fan service stuff.
I'm not gonna lie. I liked the nudity was when there's this old dude who tried to get her to throw a match, and this old dude is courting some like hot 20-something woman because of course he is, because he's rich and famous. And
Yes.
that girl comes up to Sonny after the fight that she wins and is like, they're getting to talking a little bit. She's spilling some beans about her emotional life. Somebody they start pulling their clothes off, some titties start getting touched. And then Sonny gets killed. But not really.
Because it's not really her body. She's actually in the fucking beast nearby.
I think this show's like nudity at least kind of made sense, because they were trying to butter her up, because their whole goal was that like this girl showed up and was like, I actually really like you and I hate this guy. Ha, just kidding, get fucking killed, idiot.
Yeah.
And so the nudity, like, it didn't need to be there, but it wasn't like problematic, I guess.
I don't think they didn't like need to do like a solid minute of the nudity.
Yeah, they really went into it. They really dove into that. But the
Yeah, I'm like looking at like that scene of
Mhm.
her not wearing anything lasts like 3 minutes.
Damn. And the video's 17 minutes.
Yeah, so that's like a lot of it.
And at the end, they trick her. She gets her shit kicked in. Her head gets crushed, and then she starts talking from that crushed head. And they're like, "What the heck?" And that old man and that woman like look up, and the beast in the pod that's in her room, like starts breaking out, and it's
Like,
gonna
annihilates
kill her.
them.
Yeah, it's gonna annihilate them. So there was too much talking. Holy shit! Like the video started, and I was like, "Wow, this animation's really good." And then in moments where they could have just walked away, they just kept talking and kept talking about what's gonna happen and what's happening, and I didn't need to hear any of it.
And the motivations of the main character are like literally like explained word, like fully explained, like Wikipedia synopsis.
Yeah, like one of her
the
partners
dude.
turns around to the old dude and is like, "Look, man, she's fighting for her life. This is all she has. She was an orphan growing up, and now she's in this
Yeah.
underground, and society's crushing her, and we live in a society, and she's fighting for everyone here."
It was literally just we live in a society.
Like it was literally just, we live in a society, and she's fighting for her life. Go fuck yourself, old bitch. And then and then they go into fight. And
truly do live in a fucking society.
the people.
Okay, let's talk about the actual fight though, because it's like probably one of the main things of this episode.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like the fight.
I thought the fight was okay.
It was, watching it was incredibly clunky. Holy crap! It felt like a pre-rendered cutscene from like a PS2 game. Like the actual like visual fidelity was high above that, but then the movement and like choreography was so clunky that it kind of hurt to watch. It was really slow.
I'm looking over it again, and I completely understand what you mean.
It's really slow, really clunky. A lot of the fighting and attacks and the punches and all that they don't feel weighty. But then like you see scenes where like an enemy recoils and grabs some brick, and the brick like shatters in their hand, and it looks pretty okay. And then they go back to throwing feather punches at each other. And
This is a problem that exists in a lot of shows, and this is like a problem
This is just an
that has been
animation thing. That's
covered by.
really tough to do.
No, this is I'm bringing up a different thing.
Oh, go for it.
That is where two people are fighting, and one of them throws the other away from them, like as an attack.
Oh, yeah.
Where like, why would you do that?
That gives them time to recover. I don't know. Maybe there's
Gives
some
them
fight
time to
tactic,
recover.
but
If you have someone, you should like, and you're like trying to throw them into something, I'll drive them into the fucking ground or something. Don't throw them away from you, especially if your only weapons are melee attacks
for sure.
and they have like a long range thing. Like, are you stupid?
And I mean, like, I don't know, the animation for the most part, like, looked pretty alright, but when you get to this level of animation, unless you have, like, an infinite budget, it's gonna look clunky.
Yeah.
And that's what it really suffered from a lot of it. The people walking around and talking wasn't so bad. I got little, little touches of...
It was kind of weird, but I think they were stylized enough that when they're walking around, it didn't bother me too much.
Yeah, the creatures looked kind of cool in design, but... I don't know. It was really over-explained and clunky, but some of the story beats near the end were pretty okay.
What would you rate that episode?
Like a
on the numerical
4?
Scale?
Maybe?
I think I'm gonna give it like...
By the way,
It's
my
either
rating
3
scale
or
is
4,
5
I
is
think.
average, so if I give something a 5, it's
Oh,
like
yeah, 5.
fine and watchable.
5 is average. Anything else is dumb.
If I give a score above 5, I liked it to some extent. I enjoyed it, at least.
I think I would say that I like almost enjoyed something at 5, and then like 6 is enjoyed.
Yeah, 5. I mean, 5 is like, well, there's some good, there's some bad.
Yeah. Okay.
I give it a 4.
I give it like a 3 or a 4.
3 or a 4. Okay.
But the obvious nudity really brings these episodes down for me. Just because of like...
I mean, my opinion's the exact opposite.
Okay, I'm going to say, without looking at the credits, and I'm going to look at it in a second, but this show was like made mostly by men. If I'm gonna guess.
If you're gonna guess, I mean, that's fair.
Okay, creator was in fact a man.
Okay.
I may look up what else he's done later.
So we can average out the scores at the fucking end. That'll be easy. That's easy calculator math.
Average, yeah.
So episode 1 was like a 3 or 4 out of 10. Not a strong start, honestly. Really not a strong start.
I'll give it a strong 3, week 4.
Go on the Anthony, the meme-thany boy Tano rating here. I see.
Yes.
There's also the Jello
3.5.
Apocalypse.
3.5. I give it a 3.5.
Okay. There's also the Jello Apocalypse rating, where if you give it a negative score, it means it's bad, but you still enjoyed it. Like, it was so bad. It's so bad it's good.
I don't think there will be any of those.
Probably not. Probably not.
Well, actually, no. Bad writing can be enjoyable, but this is not the enjoyable kind.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Next one.
Episode 2. 3 robots.
3 robots.
I'll read it. Long after the fall of humanity, 3 robots embark on a sightseeing tour of a post-apocalyptic city. I'll give a quick rundown. There's the tall, like, I don't know.
There's a tall, lanky robot.
Tall, lanky robot that's kind of like your main man, doesn't know what's going on, gets things explained to him because, the viewers got to get things explained. There's the small robot that's kind of quirky and, a little, what is he, a little sarcastic and memey. Yeah. And then there's the bot one that talks like a robot and looks like a Dalek.
That's what she looks like. I was trying to figure out.
Yeah, from Doctor Who, looks like a Dalek, and is the female one that is like a yeah, it's a little pyramid that rolls around, talks like a Wikipedia article speaking, and acts like it knows a lot of stuff. But the whole gimmick is that they clearly don't know about the stuff that
they're finding. Know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, but they're like, oh wow, so this is what that was for.
They're basically tourists in a post-apocalyptic city.
Yeah, and while the first one was like while the first episode was like a action kind of thriller mystery-ish type thing, this is more of just a comedy. This is like a straight comedy.
This is just a comedy thing.
So, I don't know. Let's get into the actual thing here.
Okay.
From when honestly, from the first moment, just real quick, from the first moment that it started, I didn't really like the way it looked. Like, just in general. I'm not a big fan of the aesthetic that this one went with. That might just be a personal thing, but I wasn't a big fan of it. I don't know. How'd you feel?
Uh, I was fine with how this looked. I had no problem with the visuals in this one.
It looks fine. It didn't blow me away in terms
I
of
like
like
the
the
look
quality.
of the female robot,
The pyramid one.
like the pyramid Dalek one.
Yeah,
I thought
it looks like some weird like you like sci-fi movie. You go to the other planet and there's this giant pyramid that appears and like 2001 Space Odyssey level of like bullshittery. That's kind of the vibe I get from that pyramid robot. Okay. First off, second off, I guess this is a comedy episode, and it wasn't funny.
I thought I liked a few of the jokes.
I
Except the only jokes that I liked were from the female robot.
Yeah, because it's just a monotone, like it's
Because,
acting correct, but it's clearly not correct.
I like monotone things that are saying like stupid shit.
Because that's what you do all the time.
I was gonna make that joke, but you made it for me.
Damn. So the first meme is with the basketball. First joke's with the basketball. They show up to the basketball.
Yeah, they try and bounce the basketball.
They try to bounce it, and they don't understand what's going on with it. And then
they go to a diner, and then they complain about the inefficiency of humans in taking food through a hole in their mouth.
Yeah, that one honestly, up until like the basketball was like, kind of. There was a couple of things that I kind of got a little out of, and the diner kind of the same business. There's a couple things. There's like, I get it. That's kind of funny, but then what really pissed me off was the LOL random cat gonna explode.
Okay, yeah, the cat thing fucking annoyed me.
Because they like find a cat, and it won't leave them alone, and I think it's Pyramid Girl that comes to the conclusion, or it might be the little sarcastic piece of shit that comes to the conclusion.
I think they're just fucking with the main dude though.
Maybe, but it seems like they actively believe it.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
It was kind of weird.
Yeah, but they're like, oh, the cat's gonna explode if you stop petting it. And the cat just keeps following them around, and he's actively scared.
But also, like, the scene just kind of ends.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's the whole it draws parallels for me back to the 2012 2013 days of lol random cats on the internet. Internet is for cat photos. Like this stuff like moms share on Facebook still, wherein like you'll hear I hear my parents joke about this all the time about like haha the internet's just for cat photos, haha that's still relevant and funny. When that
I'm not sure if this guy's updated his internet humor in at least 5 years.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe I'm too deep in internet comedy culture, but
I don't think that we are. I mean we are, but I'm pretty sure that
like I still enjoy movies like Deadpool. Deadpool's like actually really funny, and it has some kind of cringy moments, but for the most part it's generally funny and stuff like that. But this just wasn't that. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, this is not that. And then it ends. Okay, first of all, there's like a really fucking cringy speech that the lady robot gives about humans destroying themselves, and it's like,
oh yeah,
this message has been around for 150 years, and you did not like expand on it at all, and you gave like.
It's the surface level 7th grader writing. Oh, it's the 7th grade like hot take writing his first movie manuscript because he thinks he's gonna be a famous director, and the whole movie like ends with the humans are destroying the earth, and they're destroying themselves through war and famine and not taking care of the earth, and what do you expect? They all get exterminated. Wow. Like, I mean, sure, I agree, but that's it. That's it. Dropped out of freshman year movie school to write that. I don't know.
And also the film or the episode just ends with cats being dumb NPCs on Earth, and the robots don't know this until then, and also cats can talk now.
Oh yeah, the cats are like, haha, we rule this planet and we can talk. And they're very posh and...
That's literally just as abrupt as I made it sound. Like, it just happens.
Yeah, they're
There's
just...
no build up to that.
I mean, they kind of... The cat was in there long enough for me to be like, okay, the cat's the ending, okay. And I think the little transition into the talking was kind of cute, maybe, but then a bunch of cats show up and are like, what are they, like, you will pet us forever type deal. And then, I don't know, they, like, do the classic cats get distracted easily.
Yes.
I don't know. I didn't like this one. It's a 3 out of 10 from me.
I'm giving this one like a 4.5 out of 10. Just because I was redeemed slightly by some of the jokes.
I mean, well, a couple of the jokes, like, I could appreciate a couple of the jokes, but some of those, like, actively made me physically cringe.
I also might be just biased because after I watched the first episode, I was like, oh god, is this all going to be horrible?
And that one was a little better for you?
And that was slightly better, so maybe I'm just viewing it lately, but I'm sticking with 4.5.
4.5? Okay. Episode 3.
I don't know if you're writing those down.
No, I'm not.
Fuck. I can probably remember them at the end.
Yeah. Wait, we'll just glance through them again. Okay, episode 3, The Witness. After seeing a brutal murder, a woman flees from the serial killer through the streets of a surreal city. This one gave me hope.
Okay, I agree. I liked this.
This episode actually, like, actively gave me hope for the series. I'm like, okay, maybe we got a couple, like, bad ones out of the way. Now we can really dig into it.
And there's exactly one reason why that is, and I think that we can both identify it.
They don't talk. There's no dialogue. They don't talk. It's just cool shots.
There's a little bit of dialogue in, like, the middle portion.
Yeah, there's a couple lines, but they're pretty inoffensive. For the most part. Like, they're not, like, well written, but they're just inoffensive, like, open the door kind of thing. Or like, oh, you're on the guest list, come on in, type shit. Okay, I'm gonna give an actual rundown of the thing.
Okay.
So, spoiler for the episode, there's a dude doing some weird shit in a room, and it looks like he's beating this girl to death. And he looks out his window and sees that, like, across the street in another building, the woman that he just beat to death is watching him from that window. Which, like, is a cool, surreal, weird start. And that girl that was watching it happen, she freaks out, starts sprinting out of her building. The guy is like, oh shit, I gotta stop her, or something to that effect. Chases her down the street, she gets in a car, he gets in a car, and she heads over to her, I don't know, manager, pimp. They're putting on some weird...
Manager, pimp, basically.
They're putting on some weird sex show. Some really, like, bondagey, weird sex show, which honestly, I'm fine with this whole portion. To be completely honest, it's really out there, but so is the rest of the episode. And I don't know, you could argue that she could have had any job, but I think it adds a neat little moment in there.
I'm fine with her having that job, but I think that scene went for too long.
Probably, yeah.
And was like, because the guy's searching for the guy's searching for her, right?
Mm-hmm.
At that point. He kind of, like, stays there and experiences it. Like, he kind of, like, tries to escape a little bit, but he just kind of, like, sits there and is allowing things to happen.
Yeah, that's kind of what I felt when I was watching this. Like, if he really wanted to, he could just leave. Like, right now.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be hard. But I can understand, getting sucked into that, so...
I don't know.
On a man-to-man level. On a man-to-man level. I can understand him getting stuck there.
I can understand that.
But the whole reason she runs there... Okay, what's up?
But also searching for the person that thinks you have murdered someone.
Yeah, when murder is involved like that, it's kind of... I don't know, I wouldn't... I'm not feeling that one as much, but...
I'm not feeling that one much.
I don't know about that one, Chief. But, like, she runs there, assumedly, I think they hint towards this, but, like, her manager has a weapon of some sort, and I think she wants to... Or she just wants him to be there.
Yes.
And
he does get the weapon.
Yeah, and he chases her there, and then some other, I'm assuming, like, transgender woman, like, pulls the guy chasing her into the weird, sex room. Because she just assumes that he's there to, hang out with all these bondage people. And she's also late for her job at this same I don't know, party. And she's, like, the main dancer. So, he's sucked in there, trying to escape, quote unquote, as he's just sitting there hanging out with all these women. And then the girl that he was chasing shows up on stage doing her job. And he's like, oh shit, that's her. And, chases her, and she freaks out and runs. I think this is when she gets the gun, right?
Yes.
So she's sprinting out of there, gets the gun, starts running down the street again. He's chasing
There's
her.
a run down the street for a while, and then she goes into an apartment building and
Hmm.
hides in a place until he finds her, and then in in self-defense, she shoots him.
Or it looks
And
like she shoots him.
yeah,
And it looks like the struggle from the start of the episode, and you hear the gunshot go off, and the angling and everything of the characters is exactly the same as the start. And you're like, oh, it's a loop. But then this time it turns out that she killed him, and then he's across the street watching at the end. Which
yeah.
I don't know if it has any sort of like symbolic like significance in
I think
terms of
it's just supposed to be weird.
in terms of meaning. I couldn't really find anything like that. But if they were just going for weird and unexpected, it got me there. And I think I really liked the art in this one. It's much more stylized, much more interesting.
Yeah,
The shot composition and stuff and the angles are much more unique. And I really liked like running down the empty streets and all these weird pans of all these, impossible buildings and stuff.
I do. The environment of the city is very nice.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like dirty, but really colorful.
Yeah, the character designs are really good too, like the clothes that she runs around in. There's a lot of nudity because she gets like half dressed and then just fucking books it. So she's running down the street like naked.
Yeah. Well, I think that was pretty unnecessary and like pretty obvious just for like male viewer. Okay,
I don't know.
I'm also just looking through clicking around through the episode again. There's a lot of jiggle physics in this animation.
Oh hell yeah.
Wow, I wonder why they put that in there. It was for an artistic statement.
Also, for anybody who cares, the bad dude looks like Hassan Abi.
Looks like Hassan Piker.
He looks at like very, very, very much like he dresses like fucking Hassan.
Yeah, he looks like
He looks like Hassan.
He just is Hassan.
He's trying to seize the means of her reproduction.
Seize the means of reproduction. It's a terrible joke. It also doesn't even make sense because he's not trying to rape anyone. He's just trying to murder her.
I mean, I don't know, man. I liked the line. It came to my brain. I'm happy with it.
We're sticking with
So
it.
yeah, moral of the episode is that the bad guy looks like Hassan Piker and he shoots a woman. So I mean,
Hassan Piker shoots women.
no, but the overall like artistic flair and honestly like uniqueness of the story. It's not like unique. Cycles have been a thing in forever in sci-fi,
Yeah.
but
It's
a cute take on it
with this episode.
oh yeah.
This is an acceptable episode. If I had to give it a rating, I'd give it a.
I'm gonna say 6.5.
What the fuck? I was gonna say 6.5.
Well, there you go. Because I'm like, it's not quite a 7. Because 7 is like, wow, this was like pretty good.
I would give it a 7 or a 7.5 if it didn't have as much of the like very obvious nudity. That
I mean,
just
like,
takes me out of it.
and to be clear, nudity in itself isn't a problem, but it's like so excessive intentionally. Which I mean, if it's their artistic flair, I'm not really. I don't know. I'm less hard on the nudity than you are, I think here.
I'm very hard on. I am perfectly fine if a show like wants to be sexy, but like just like random boobs for no reason, and have it not be important to the story.
Would you be more
Just
okay
like-
if he got his dick out too? Like if it was
No,
nudity on both sides, so it wasn't clearly like aimed at a group.
Probably not actually. Simply because like it's not like important to like any of the themes that I could assume into the episode. Although I'm not really sure what themes that could be, because the only theme I can think of is like some sort of something about misunderstandings.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And how like if people don't like properly explain themselves, it can just lead to like more misunderstandings.
And more violence, and like it's literally a cycle of violence. Maybe that's the message. I'm
Maybe.
not sure.
Either way, the episode was
but
like
also there's
yeah.
I don't know.
It was substantially better. It was substantially better than the other two.
Okay.
I would even you know what, I could even give it a 7 and be like this was cool. Okay, next one. Suits. Community of farmers use their homemade mechs to defend their families from an alien invasion. Literally farmers, but with lots of tech, and then some aliens come out of like a
some portals,
some
and they gotta, like,
wormhole
fight
or
them.
pocket dimension or something, and then they fight him off. And then spoiler time, it's so fucking predictable. Like it's literally it's like textbook how to write the scene, but with
Yeah.
too much dialogue.
Yeah. But also, I like the animation of this episode.
Oh, the animation's pretty fun, but
I like the animation episode. I like how the robots look. I like how they move.
yeah, because they're like rednecky robots, like
Yeah.
look self-built type deal.
All the characters are like,
It's textbook.
yeah, textbook.
There's the main
I
kind of
I feel like
courageous.
there's a better word.
I don't know. There's
but-
the main courageous. There's the courageous main character that kind of leads the charge a little bit. There's the worrywart, but at the end of it, kind of redeems himself character. You know, he's a little worried, little. Oh, I don't know if we should do this, guys, and then ends up, sacrificing himself in the end, allegedly. And then the third one is just the you usually have a female in this type of trio, and she's just kind of the get her done type, hard worker, gets it, doesn't take shit from anybody type deal. And all three of them go up on the front lines and start gunning down aliens. And I have to say, the action in this part is, pretty all right. It seems weird that, like, I don't know, for the most part, the robots are just kind of shooting the aliens, and the aliens try to run past them, and then they just keep shooting them. Which, I don't know, it felt kind of weird. Like, it didn't feel like a serious, outside of them getting to their homes, it didn't feel like a real fight. It turned into a proper one later when the aliens started actually jumping on their mechs and things like that, and it looked more interesting. But at the start, it felt a little odd, just as the action portion. And then what does it go into?
I think I was fine with the action at the beginning, even though it was, like, really simple.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like bad. It wasn't offensive in any way, but it wasn't like particularly eventful, I guess.
Eventful.
But what happened? It was textbook when the originally reprehensive guy they're like, oh no, it's in trouble, we're not gonna make it. The main guy's like, no, we can do it, just trust. And then that reprehensive guy's like, it's not gonna work unless I run out there and blow up my bot.
I gotta do it myself.
And so
I gotta go into the thing.
So he starts pushing forward, and he's like, I'm gonna detonate my bot, and goes in there, and he's like, tell my wife something about, I don't know, I mean, it's a cliche, tell my wife, if I don't make it back, tell my wife X thing. But like what he said was a little bit more unique. I don't remember specifically what he said. But, and then he detonates his robot, and they're like, no! But it ends up fending off the things for the most part. And then at the end of the episode, they're sitting back, like, looking like they're relieved after finishing it all, and then he comes out and, like, pats him on the back. Oh, wait, no, that's the main dude, right? No. Yeah. Right? Hold on, am I being stupid?
Hold on, I would...
Yeah, no, he's definitely dead, right?
Episode, I was not listening for, like, 10 seconds. What were you talking about?
The guy that sacrificed himself, he's definitely dead, right?
Yeah, he's dead.
Oh, and that's right, and then the main guy ran in there to try and save him.
The main guy also does... Yeah, but at the very end, the main guy does, like, hey, I need to hold open the monster's mouth so someone can shoot him into it.
That's right. Yeah, his wife is setting up the giant beam
to, like, shoot into the monster's mouth. He's like,
because there's one big alien that they can't fight. That's right.
Yeah. They can't pierce its armor, so they have to shoot it into its mouth. So he has to go and hold it.
Yeah, he holds open the mouth with his mech, and and they also did the nice little foreshadowing where he complains about the weird, ugly scarecrow that he has in the front yard that he got from his neighbor, but then he uses that to, like, plant himself so that he doesn't get pulled away from the monster. The classic little foreshadow there. And then they shoot the laser. They don't show if he's alive or dead, and then they have the wives sitting on the porch. And yeah.
And they're, like, reminiscing about the battle, and then, like, it comes out, and he's just alive, and the audience is supposed to be like, yeah, he's alive, but, like, yeah, obviously he's alive.
They didn't show him die. He's probably alive. And that's pretty. And then, the one really cool part that I liked is that it zoomed out. Because, like, there's not much world building outside of, like, he mentions that, like, oh, why did I move out here? They said all I have to do is fight aliens, but this is not what I was expecting, And I was like, that's a neat little touch. But then it zooms out at the end, and you see that they're on a planet that's taken over almost completely by these aliens, but there's these little hives, these little bubbles that these aliens are assaulting, and it seems as though that these farmers are living in these bubbles and protecting them from the aliens that are taking over the planet. And that little shot at the end was cool.
Oh yeah, that shot is actually pretty good.
Where they zoom
But
out and there's
also,
like some pods.
they should find a different planet to farm on.
I feel like it's the remnants of society though, like as a whole.
I feel like we live in a society.
We truly live in a society. But the ending was really cute. For the most part, it was pretty standard procedure.
I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. I'm just giving it a 5 out of 5. Like, it's okay.
5 out of 5? You mean 5 out of 10?
5 out of... Oh, yeah, 5 out of 10.
Yeah, it's really inoffensive. It hits the story beats you'd kind of expect from a little short like this. Like, I don't know. I've seen this story a million times, but it had a couple cute takes and a couple cliche moments. I think I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5. But yeah, it was up there of just being like middle of the road.
You just said 4.5 out of 5. I have
Oh fuck!
your thinking.
4.5 out of 10. It's middle of the road. You've seen the story before, but there's a couple little twists. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Episode, what is this? 5? Yeah. Sucker of Souls. Unleashed by an archaeological dig, a bloodthirsty demon battles a team of mercenaries armed with cats? It's the ... cats question mark, so I had to...
Wait, is there... Oh, there is a...
Yeah.
There is... It does want you to say it that way.
Demon battles a team of mercenaries armed with cats? Like... And okay, this is the first episode with actual, like, the rest have been very clearly 3D CGI animation, and this one was the first 2D, like, it wasn't drawn. I don't think. I'm not an expert on animation, so don't quote me on any of this stuff. But it's 2D animation. It's not the big CGI 3D stuff, which made it kind of stand out originally. Because, 5 episodes deep and you're like, oh, it's a very, very... Because most of the other ones, while they were unique in style, they weren't... Like, you would watch them and they're all some high-quality 3D, but they're not super, super distinct outside of maybe Suits. But Sucker of Souls is a very big step in terms of animation. Like, a very different style. And I liked it, honestly. I'm a sucker for 2D animation.
I like 2D animation. I think there needs to be more good 2D animation. Also, you really enjoyed that thing of the fucking assistant being obliterated.
Oh, that was an... Okay, no. That was...
While you were watching that, you had like a visceral reaction.
Okay, so... I'm not gonna lie. For the first, like... I'm gonna say, like, 4 minutes of this show, I was like, there's too much dialogue, but it's not that bad so far, right? For like the first 4 or 5 minutes, I was like, it's not that bad. And then the monster shows up, and it's a kind of neat chase, but they're still talking too much.
I just watched that shot again.
But yeah, it falls to the same problem of just way too much fucking dialogue, and they're literally explaining everything, and it's really obnoxious. But the animation looks really cool, and there's this incredible shot. I'm gonna watch it again. This incredible shot of like obviously the throwaway character, the like student studying under them, the fucking coffee boy, is like digs into a hole deeper than he should have to look at some object. And there's this really, really cool shot where the monster jumps out at him. Let me watch this again real quick. And he's gnawing on him, and he lifts him up, and it looks like just a regular kind of shot. He's bleeding all over the monster. But then the monster takes his hand, turns it into a sword, stabs him through the stomach, which first off was a cool shot. They do a big 360 around him. He swings his arm up, cuts it. God damn it, dude. He swings his arm up, cuts him in half, makes a cross, like a religious cross blood splatter on the ceiling. Then the kid's glasses fall apart, and then his skin, and then his, like, what's that underneath there? The veins and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, it all splits in half in one piece.
You see each layer of his body.
So like he's sitting there, then the glasses break apart in half, and then the skin, and then the veins, and then the skull, and then the brain. And the two main guys are standing like right behind it, so you see them revealed after it all breaks apart. And it's really cute. I like it a lot.
It's I like that you just described how he was horribly murdered.
it's I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. The really artistic, over the top stuff like that. I'm a sucker for that. Oh my gosh. That shot, like, I was really excited at that point. I was like, the dialogue's too much, but the that shot really brought it together for me. The monster gets stronger from the blood. Like, he drains the blood and gets stronger.
Yeah.
And then they get chased down a hallway. Also, the thing is a dick.
It does have a dick.
They didn't really need that. But
also, it is Dracula.
It's Dracula, yeah. It is literally Dracula. Dracula, but it's a unique Dracula design.
A more animalistic Dracula.
Yeah, and he's got just his dick hanging there. Because, you know, it's a rated M show, or it's a rated R show. So they gotta get as much nudity in there as they can. But then I think most of the problems well up for me. I didn't even hate the solution of the cats, right? Basically, they beat them because there's a bunch of Draculas, and they beat them because they're scared of cats, because that's like the classic. They did it in Egypt and all that kind of stuff. I didn't even hate that. I really didn't. Like,
I was fine with him just not liking cats, because like vampires traditionally have like a lot of like random bullshit fears.
Yeah.
That they can't deal with.
Yeah, but once they got back to the cave with the other two supporting characters, they just started fucking talking. And talking.
I'm fine with characters talking in shows. I think you're just ragging on the talking because it's just bad.
No, but the dialogue is so horrible.
Yeah, I know.
The jokes weren't funny. Okay, there was a couple. They pointed at the amount of shit they had, and they had like a couple guns and some ammunition. And then the girl's like, I got like jokes about having C4, and she has like a shit ton of C4.
Yeah.
And that was kind of funny. But they just over-explain everything. He starts telling the entire fucking biblical history of Dracula. They didn't need any of it.
The whole biblical history.
Like, fucking, thou shalt not suck fucking blood, and they just go into the whole thing. The one historian guy goes into that whole thing, and then they talk too much about it, and they over-explain everything, and then it loses its scare factor. And then they use a bunch of C4, and then they're like, oh, the cats! But then they get fucked anyways because there's a billion of them, right?
Yes.
They lose in the end because there's like 30 Draculas
like
or something.
30 Draculas for some reason.
Yeah, just all hanging in that cave.
It's really weird that they're like, this is the Dracula, and then they kill the Dracula, and there's just like 30 more Draculas, and they all die.
Yeah. I mean, once again, I'm a sucker for that cool artistic shot of the kid dying, and I'm a sucker for everybody just dying in the end. But everything outside of those two things were mediocre or bad. If all of these were silent, even if some of it didn't make sense, I think I would like them more. Straight up.
I think I would probably agree.
But I don't know.
God, I wish I was deaf.
God.
Apologies to any deaf listeners. Wait, fuck.
Wait, fuck. It's like the fairly recent deaf memes where they say like the subtitles say like Russian dance music and then deaf people like doing like a Russian dance. Have you seen those deaf memes? I'll send them to you if you haven't. But what would you give this one? I want you to rate it first.
Okay. I'm gonna also give it a 5. It's passable.
I'm gonna give it a 5.5 because those damn artistic shots, dude. Get my rocks off every fucking time.
Tip my rocks.
I'm gonna give that a 5.5. You're gonna give it a 5. There you go. Okay, I think your tune's gonna change a little bit here. Next one is when the yogurt took over. After scientists accidentally breed super intelligent yogurt, it soon hungers for world domination. Okay, I want you to go on this one first.
Okay. So basically, I actually like the voice of the narrator in this one. This one just like has a straight up narrator and is built around it, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
Basically, uh, if we haven't watched this in a while, but if I remember correctly, they like someone designs like some sort of computer chip or something.
I think they design like some special intelligence and they use it
Yeah,
on like some yogurt, or they test it on yogurt for some reason, or they just test some like new
they it's some
new
sort of
atomic
intelligence.
something or other.
I don't remember.
And either way,
But
they test
anyway,
it on the yogurt.
summary, it's accidentally they put in the yogurt.
Are you sure?
Yes,
I'm pretty sure they
thought for
tested it.
sure it was an accident.
Well, no, they
Well, anyway, this isn't important.
no, they definitely yeah, no, they tested it because he scrapes it back into the yogurt container. So they tested on yogurt and they're like hoping to find a way to create like some intelligent life. It doesn't work. One of the scientists takes the yogurt home and puts it in her fridge, and then when she goes to eat it, it starts like sending her messages in the yogurt. And so she's like, "Holy shit, it worked!" And it wanted to see the president, so they took it to the president, and it started like helping them make laws, and it created a plan that all the humans had to do was follow the plan.
They solved nuclear fusion.
They solved nuclear fusion, and then they gave them like just a book of plans, and they're like, if you follow these plans perfectly, you'll have a great, perfect human society. And all we want is
the yogurt all of Ohio.
Yeah, they gave yogurt all of Ohio, so Ohio is yogurt land. And
It's just where they live.
surprise, surprise, they didn't follow the steps because humans fucking suck. Got 'em? Big brain take.
Big brain take. Humans are bad at things.
And so the humans lose, but Ohio, was it Ohio, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah. And then Ohio is like kind of weird and kind of bad, but also very prosperous. Like it's a very weird vibe.
Planet is bad except for Ohio.
Yeah, so Ohio's good, and then the yogurt makes spaceships that they launch into space, and they look like little yogurt cups, and that's kind of fun.
And they escape the Earth and leave the humans behind.
Yeah, assumedly populate other planets with yogurt. But I like it a lot because it's not like a story with characters. Like none, I don't think any of the characters even have names ever dropped. They don't talk much. It's just the narrator doing a, like a summary kind of setup of talking about all the events that happened and then having fun, cute, quirky visuals to go with it. And I think for the most part it was pretty good. The narrator did a good job. The visuals were fun, unique. I don't know. Do you have anything else about it?
I think it's similar to what may happen if we create an AI that is smarter than us.
The kind of like, it's not utopian for sure, but it's not dystopian either.
It's literally just like the yogurt fixes all of humanity's problems and then leaves.
And then humanity kind of fucks it up, but it's still okay.
Yeah, they solve it eventually.
And then
and humans are just left on Earth.
And then they Team Yogurt blasting off again. But the visuals were really fun.
I think that the animation's cute.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say about it. It's not incredibly deep. It's not long. It's really fucking short, actually. It's literally 5 minutes.
I think I'm gonna give it a 5.5.
5.5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd also give it probably a 5.5. I might even give it a 6. There's not like that much that was like bad about it. Like there were parts that weren't
bad about it.
Yeah, there's nothing that was incredibly standout, but there was nothing
I didn't
bad.
dislike any of it except for like human dumb Lamau.
Human dumb Lamau. Yeah. I'm probably gonna step up into a 6. I'll give it a 6.
Okay, I'm saying it at 5.5 because human dumb Lamau.
Okay.
Okay, the next episode.
Beyond the
Aquila Rift.
Beyond the IKEA. I don't know. I was just
Beyond the IKEA.
Beyond the infinite IKEA rift. Yeah. Awakening after traveling light years off course, a ship's crew struggles to discover how far they've come. So, this one, the visuals fall a little into the uncanny valley at a couple moments for me.
I think it's in the uncanny valley the entire time, actually.
That's also fair. It's really high res, like trying to look as human as possible, but some of it is like...
I think that it looks like a bad PS4 cutscene for the entire like the whole thing.
That's fair. But like if you don't look close at all and you like drift off into your brain and start doing some daydreaming, think about what you got to do tomorrow, but still have your eyes technically pointed at the screen, you could be like, "Oh wow, they got actors for this one?"
Oh, wow, I got actors. If I wasn't wearing my glasses, I could maybe believe that it was actors.
And okay, so spoiler synopsis. They're I don't know, they're hauling something or other. They're trying to get back home after doing some stuff. They go to the cryo sleep and they're like, I'll be like a year to get back or something. They go in the cryo sleep, they wake up and they're way off course. It's been like a bunch of years. Or they don't know that immediately. Like he gets up out of the bed and is greeted by some people at this base. One of them being this woman that he very clearly knows. Like they're like, "Oh man, well, I haven't
We
seen you in
met a
forever."
really long time ago.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in forever. And they the captain's the first guy to wake up, and then the I don't know, co-pilot, this girl who's really fucking annoying. Like her voice actor is
Oh my
horrible.
god, the voice
Her
actress
voice actor is
was-
horrible.
Oh my god.
She wakes up second and she's like, "What's going on here? What are you doing? What? Who are you?" And then the main guy's like, "What do you mean? I know her. I've met her before." And she's like, "No, she's what are you? What's going on? I don't understand anything." And then she gets put back into her cryo sleep thing. And like,
She needs, like, time
because
to
they're
adjust
like
to
they're
the
yeah,
stage.
they're like, "Oh, she's having cryo stasitis." Haha. And we got to put her back in, yeah. So they do that. And the main guy starts chilling with that girl that he hasn't met in a while, and she's very clearly, like making the moves, putting the moves on. And she's like,
Dude.
you're in a deep corner of the universe or something, or you're like, you're way off course, and this base isn't, nobody visits this base very often, type deal, right? And very clearly, because it's from Love, Death, and Robots, they get in the bed and they start fucking like fucking animals.
Yes.
They show the
Well,
whole
there's-
thing. Not even there's no suggestions left over. They just
Yeah, it just is a sex scene.
I guess I don't think they actually show like the actual
I don't think
penetration.
I don't think I see the penetration directly yet.
But they show every there's not much left to the imagination.
And after the sex scene, then there's some exposition delivered while they're all in underwear.
Oh wait, hold on a minute.